Good evening, everybody. Dean D. Davison, liveweatherblogs.com, overnight edition time again. Here we're looking at the hazards map here in the United States. We're approaching 2 a.m. in the morning, so I figured I'd go through the hazards map, show you where the heat in the Midwest is just crazy, and we're going to span that to the east with some heat coming to the east, some heat wave coming for a lot of the country coming up here very shortly. So the heat is on, to say the least, here in the Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, the Midwest, the Northeast. We're going to see some heat. Take a look what's going on at 2 in the morning, which is a lot going on at 2 in the morning here in Iowa. You're probably having a hard time sleeping if you're in Iowa. You had a nice squall line, MCS, possible derecho set up here. Depends on how long this lasts. I mean, last week we had the derecho that come from this area into our area here in the Roanoke Valley. So I mean, it's definitely it's definitely an MCS. You can see has this like own low pressure system, basically, with, if you look into the radar system, and you have the comm echo and the bow echo here. You have to also watch for, in these comm echoes, for sometimes getting some isolated tornadic activity. If that were to happen, that would be happening here on the Minnesota border, also here in Wisconsin, and bowing out 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds on the outset of this line. You can see where the outflow is trying to push out here, which may kill it off. And you can also see some development behind this MCS, which is definitely showing there's some moisture there, and we got some more storms back here in Colorado. The only other area that's somewhat active tonight is down here in Florida with this tropical wave that's sitting off the coast, and it's going to keep fetching moisture day in and day in for the next couple days here in Florida. And we'll take a look at that in depth here in a few minutes. There's a few watches out, and we're going to have it out to 5 a.m. here, mainly in this area with the MCS. You can see tornadoes low, like I said, up in these comm echoes. You can sometimes get them. The area that they're saying is going to be the worst is this severe wind. Definitely on that bow echo. You can see that bow echo very clearly defined on these storms, and that usually means widespread wind damage, and these can turn into derechos and last long periods of time. Come across multiple hundreds of miles sometimes, so something we definitely got to watch out for here. And that's where the majority of your watches actually are coming around, is that area and that MCS, the ratio possibility up there. Taking a look into later today, you can see where we have the areas most highest risk for severe weather. They didn't outline any more areas into the Northeast. It still says CTEX, which is, it's not going to be as widespread as it is in the Midwest, but you're still, like I said, they still backed it up from what I was saying earlier into Montana and this whole area. One thing I would watch out for here is this mesospheric convective system. If it marches east, it could, redevelop. I would look for later updates, possibly, with this light risk tomorrow. And look at tornado probabilities. Best probability is going to be out here in West Nebraska. Also, parts of Iowa. So that's your tornado probabilities. Your hail up in the best probabilities where your tornadoes are, and also up in the northern parts of North Dakota and parts of Montana. And the wind widespread straight across. You can see where it's isolated. This is even in that area that I was saying that have less chance. You still got that 5 percentile to pop up thunderstorms, so big and so whatnot. So there's your outlook for today. And then into Tuesday, you can see we move it further in, still in the upper Midwest here. So it's going to be an interesting couple days here in the upper Midwest. It's always good to look at some of these soundings also, to change direction, height, and speed. With height, easily to make supercell thunderstorms. You can see we start off really low and then go up, and west winds and northwest winds. It can be very, and then up at the top of this, we have a south wind, so it can get turbulent and make the rotation easier. And you can see also with your cape, it's much higher, 1800, and I think the forecast is a little higher on that. And it got some lift. So this is an area we're looking at for tornadic activity tomorrow. So it's one of the reasons I pulled this up. This is called a sounding. It's basically a layer of the atmosphere, taking a look at different levels in the atmosphere. in your freezing levels and whatnot for this, and the temperature at different altitudes. You can tell hail, high winds. Maybe do a lesson. Lifting index -5 and Cape 1800 is pretty good. There's also another sounding plot with a very unstable uh, atmosphere. South winds, west winds, then north winds. This is also very conducive to your possible tornado development. Let's take a look at Cape 6200 in the Cape Index and -10 lift. This is for eastern Iowa, so you're pretty much saying, you're going to get some thunderstorms here in. It can get pretty wild here in the area of Iowa, and it's going with your mesoscale convective system really. So you see how that operates. Then we have the Atlantic. We still have that one area here. It has a higher probability of developing than we have what was Colin, which is pitiful. And then we have that area off the Florida coast. Taking a look at satellite pictures, we have this area which is getting directed by this upper level low. We also have what was Colin that's getting torn apart by these two upper level lows, which is also going to be what's deterring um, any good development here along near the coast of Florida. You see some flare up there. This upper level low is in dry air is kicking in here, so that's very low on development possibilities. And anything to do with these upper level lows, and this is just going to get sucked up into the Atlantic Ocean, and even if it does get named, it'll be a fish storm. And we got this big upper level low dropping down, which may also have an issue and prohibit some formation out here in the central Atlantic. So stuff we can take a look at in the tropics the next few days. Now to the other big story, which is the heat. We have 94 for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. 97 Tuesday, hot. 97. 71 low Tuesday night. 98, probably pushing 100 Wednesday with a very slight chance of thunderstorms. That would cool us off if it did happen. 94 on Thursday, then about 95 on Friday, and we're going to probably get it down into the upper 80s by the weekend, which would be a nice relief. So, hot weather here in the Roanoke Valley, hot weather along the East Coast and the Midwest. Big stories here, and severe weather rolling into the Midwest, as well as the tropics, which always seem to be interesting this time of year as we're going into the spike of the hurricane season. For LiveWeatherBlogs.com, this is student meteorologist D&D Davison with your overnight edition. Have a great evening, and I will have more blogs tomorrow afternoon. D&D Davison, LiveWeatherBlogs.com.